You sit at the kitchen table long after the house has gone quiet, a single lamp throwing gold across last month's bills and a coffee gone cold. Your shoulders are heavy from another day of pushing, chasing, doing more, yet the numbers on the screen don't reflect the effort. I see the tightness in your jaw, the habit of apologizing to yourself for not being enough. That tired, anxious hero is you, practical, resilient, a little weary of promises that never changed your bank account. Tonight, something in you wants a different story. Imagine the scene widening, the faint hum of the street, a calendar with every day penciled in, a small voice inside repeating the same old script: not lucky, not qualified, not enough. Those beliefs are not mystical curses, they are patterns, many formed years ago, now steering your decisions, your energy, even who you meet. I'm not here to sell shortcuts. I'm here as your guide, calm and clear, to show how what you think and feel about money literally rearranges the opportunities that come to you. Listen to me as if I were sitting across the table, leaning forward with steady eyes. You've been surviving, I say softly. But there is a confident frequency inside you waiting to be turned on. Picture it as a dial, a scarcity down here, abundance up there. Each thought, each morning ritual, nudges that dial. We will learn to flip it from exhausted striving to magnetic ease. We'll dismantle the limiting stories, those whispered "I can't" lines, and replace them with small, believable truths that change how you move in the world. You might protest, it sounds simple, but I've tried. I hear you. Simplicity does not mean easy, it means repeatable, patient, and rooted in daily practice. Over the next minutes, I'll walk you through a roadmap that merges mindset work with practical habits, so your balance sheet begins to reflect a new inner reality. If this resonates, give this video a gentle like, and tell me in the comments, what's your biggest financial pain right now: limited income, mounting debt, or lack of opportunity? Subscribe if you want the next steps delivered in a steady, compassionate way. Ready? In the next part, we'll confront the first limiting story that's been stealing your prosperity, and I'll show you how to begin changing it today. You sit at the kitchen table, light from the stove hood casting a tired halo over a stack of envelopes. The coffee is cold in the mug you forgot to sip while you tried once more to squeeze sense out of numbers that refuse to bend. I remember you, tired, determined, a little hardened by years of carrying more than you were meant to carry. The truth I offer is simple and unsettling: the money problem is not just math. It is a story you tell yourself every morning, a slow current that pulls your choices into the same narrow channel. Listen with me for a moment. Close your eyes if you want. Hear the inner narrator: I'll never get ahead, I don't deserve more, there's never enough, and notice how those sentences feel like heavy coins in your pockets, weighing down every decision. Across the room, your reflection in the window looks smaller than the person you know you are. You try to hustle harder, work longer, take the extra shift, and yet opportunities drift past like trains you almost catch. That pattern, scarcity calling scarcity, has a history. Perhaps a parent's anxious voice, a childhood of watching comforts vanish, a culture that taught you to feel guilty for wanting more. Each of those moments wrote a rule in your mental ledger: worth tied to struggle, safety tied to hoarding, abundance suspicious and therefore distant. Now imagine a different inner dialogue. A gentle voice at the edge of your awareness says, what if possibility is not outside you but inside? You might scoff, and that is okay. Resistance is part of the territory. But in that same breath, remember one small time you expected a good outcome and it came true. Maybe a job offer, a timely repair, a kindness from a stranger. Those were not accidents, they were frequencies you briefly matched. The law of attraction isn't mystical wishcraft, it's the practical science of how your beliefs and emotions set up the pathways your life follows. Tonight we will begin to map those pathways. We'll name the stories that have been running on autopilot and watch how they show up in banking apps and conversations. For now, tell me, what sentence about money keeps repeating in your head? Drop a quick comment or tap like if that line hit close to home, and if you want to keep walking, subscribe so you don't miss the practical steps ahead. In the next part, I'll teach you the exact 3-step reset I use with people who've been where you are, and how a 5-minute morning shift rewires the whole day. You sit at the small kitchen table, morning light slanting through the blinds, a scatter of bills like a pale constellation across the wood. Your phone bobs with the bank app notification, a single number that feels heavier every day. Your shoulders are tight, your jaw clenches before you even open the first envelope. In the mirror you practice a smile that doesn't reach your eyes. I'm doing everything right, you tell yourself, but somewhere beneath the words a quieter story murmurs, not enough. Not for me. I step closer, not as a stranger but as the steady voice you forgot you had. What if that story is only a story? I ask. You laugh, brittle. It's real, you say. I've earned this reality. The room shifts as memories pile up, early jobs, promises of security that slipped away, childhood lessons about money passed down like heirlooms of fear. We trace the pattern together, every I can't, every avoidance of the bank statement, every excuse that keeps you small. We walk through a flashback of small choices, declining a proposal because it felt risky, undercharging because you didn't value your worth, saying yes to overtime that drained you but didn't grow you. Each moment is a stitch in the fabric of scarcity. Beliefs anchor behavior, I explained softly. Behavior sculpts results. You press your palms to your temples, feeling the logic and the ache at the same time. Then a shift, a simple exercise we do in the quiet of your kitchen. I ask you to read aloud the thought that rises first, I'll never have enough. Hearing it out loud pulls its power away. We name an opposite possibility, small, believable, like, I can manage the next month differently. Your voice is tentative, already it sounds less like surrender. You breathe in gratitude for one small thing, hot coffee, a roof, a friend who called, and for a moment the tightness loosens. If this scene touches you, tap like and tell me in the comments, what's your biggest financial pain right now, limited income, mounting debt, or lack of opportunity? Subscribe quietly if you want to walk this path step by step. Next, we'll meet the single limiting belief that, once unraveled, begins to change where your money goes and how it comes to you. You sit at the kitchen table under the harsh glow of a single lamp, bills spread like fallen leaves, the bank app a cold blue number that refuses to rise. Outside, the street hums with ordinary life, a neighbor's car door, a dog barking, while inside your chest a different rhythm beats, worry, the tight, familiar knot of scarcity. I lean in, not with quick fixes, but with a simple, steady question, what story are you telling yourself about money? You whisper the answers you've rehearsed for years, I don't deserve it, money slips through my fingers, I'm too old to change, and in the quiet those phrases land like anchors. We step into the memory of the first time that story formed, perhaps a childhood of whispered worries, a parent who said, we can't afford that, or a boss who equated worth with business. The scene is cinematic and precise, the smell of dish soap, the tone of a voice, and suddenly the belief is not about you, it's about a moment that became a rule. Seeing it this way loosens something. You feel both small and free, small because the story has bound you, free because stories can be rewritten. I guide you through a simple exercise right there at your table. Name the belief. Ask when it began. Then find one moment that contradicts it. You write, I worked hard and saved last year, a promotion came. The hand that trembled at the bills now writes evidence of abundance. Your breath lengthens. The room feels bigger. We practice a short affirmation, not empty words, but statements backed by memory. I have created financial wins before, I can do it again. Say it 3 times. Notice the subtle lift in your chest. Conversations follow, your inner critic clattering like an old radiator, and my calm voice offering a map, identify, challenge, replace. We talk about small daily rituals that begin to change the current, a 5-minute morning visualization, a gratitude log for money that has come, a tiny offer of value you can make today. These are not magic, they are re-education for the nervous system. If this resonates, tap like and tell me, what's your biggest financial pain right now, limited income, mounting debt, or lack of opportunity? Subscribe to keep walking. In the next part we'll design a practical morning ritual that raises your vibration and attracts clear opportunities. The kitchen light sneaks through the blinds like a thin promise, and you sit there with your phone open to the bank app, the numbers swimming like a language you no longer understand. The kettle hisses, coffee steam rising in a small cloud that fogs the mirror of your future for a moment. A voice, old and familiar, slips into the room, your inner critic, the one that learned scarcity from hard nights and too many near misses. "You're not cut out for this," it whispers. "You've been trying for years. This is just how it is." You feel the weight of those words press on your ribs, and for a second you almost believe them again. But then the guide's presence enters, not loud, not flashy, but steady, like sunlight warming the countertop. "That voice is a story," the guide says. "It was written by fear, not by fact." You look up, and the room shifts. Ordinary bills on the table become clues, not verdicts. The guide leans in and shows you how a single belief has been running your finances like an autopilot. Money wasn't your enemy, the meaning you attached to money was. "Try this now," the guide suggests gently. Before you reach for your phone, breathe in for 4 counts. Exhale and say quietly, "I am worthy of more." Picture one small receipt, an unexpected $20, a paid bill, a clear message. Abundance can start tiny. As you follow, the critic huffs, but its voice thins when met with a deliberate breath and a different story. The guide maps a simple road. Notice the thought, name the fear, replace it with a new phrase, take one aligned action, pay a small debt, send an email asking for an opportunity, set a tiny financial boundary, and then celebrate the tiny win. You practice a morning ritual right there, 3 gratitudes, a quick visualization of an incoming check, and a firm decision to check the balance only once later in the day. The scene changes subtly, the phone becomes a tool again, not a judge. You feel a looseness where tightness once lived. If this lands with you, tap like so others can find this warm light too. Now tell me, what's your biggest financial pain right now? Limited income, mounting debt, or lack of opportunity? Share below, and if you want the exact 7-day ritual to rewire this pattern, stay with me, and next we build the step-by-step morning practice that makes new beliefs stick. You sit at your kitchen table, morning light slanting across unpaid bills, a coffee gone cold as your mind races through numbers. The room feels both familiar and heavy, like a stage where the same scarcity scene plays out every month. Then you hear a calm voice, not from some distant guru but from the part of you that's been watching and wanting change. "You're not broken," it says. "You're rehearsing a story that never served you." The words land like a small, vital invitation. We step into that invitation together. Imagine the worn loop of thought, "I'm not enough, there isn't enough," unspooling as if someone gently unties a knot. You feel resistance, a low ache of fear. What if it doesn't work, you ask? What if I lose even more? The answer isn't a promise of instant riches, it's a reframe. What if you rewire the way you expect life to respond? The scene shifts. Instead of scarcity, you begin to notice tiny openings, a call returned, a small unexpected sale, a friend recommending an opportunity. These are not miracles, they're evidence that when frequency changes, so does the map of possibility. Here's a simple practice I give you now, short, tangible, designed for mornings when the weight feels heavy. Sit for 3 minutes. Breathe to feel your feet on the floor. Name 3 things you genuinely appreciate about today, no grand gestures, just real details, the sunlight, the cup of coffee, the clear email. Then, for 1 more minute, visualize a bank balance that reflects your worth. See the numbers, feel the relief, hear your own laughter at ease. Hold that feeling for 30 seconds. Let gratitude and possibility become a rhythm in your body. You try it. You notice your shoulders drop, a small smile. This is the work, not pretending, but redirecting. Habits follow feeling. When you tune to appreciation, you begin to act differently, saying yes to a conversation, clearing one overdue card, opening a savings envelope. If this resonates, tap like so others can find it, and tell me in the comments, what's your biggest financial pain right now? Limited income, mounting debt, or lack of opportunity? Share it, we walk this path together. Stay with me here. Next, we'll map a daily routine that anchors these shifts and makes abundance practical, not theoretical. The kitchen light is pale and steady as you sit with a stack of envelopes, the numbers like tiny stones in your chest. I lean in, not as a stranger with answers, but as the steady voice that has walked this path. Close your eyes for a moment, I say. Breathe in for 4, hold, breathe out for 6. Let the tightness loosen. You do, almost reluctantly, and the world slightly shifts, the room feels larger, the bills less like a trap and more like a problem that can be solved. We begin small. Name one thing you are grateful for right now, I guide. Your voice is soft when it comes, sunlight on the counter, coffee still warm, a memory of a laugh. Gratitude isn't a magic trick, it's gravity. It recenters you where abundance can notice you. Then I ask you to picture a number, not a fantasy, but a believable, specific goal for this quarter. See the amount, feel the relief in your belly as if it's arriving. Anchor that feeling with 3 words: secure, capable, open. Say them aloud. The syllables rearrange something inside. A thought intrudes, old, urgent, you don't deserve this. I don't ignore it. That voice was given to protect you once, I say. Thank it, then let it step aside. You imagine sliding that worry into a drawer and closing it. We create a tiny, practical ritual you can do every morning: deep breath, 1 sentence of gratitude, 1 clear financial intention, and 1 small action: send that email, call that client, sort 1 bill. These are the bricks of change. As days pass, the shift is cinematic in quiet ways: a returned call when you needed it, an unexpected job lead, the weight of dread easing enough for your shoulders to drop. Resistance still knocks, old stories show up, but they lose their command when met with consistent, calm practice. If this resonates, tap the like button, it helps others find these steps. Tell me below, what is your biggest financial pain right now: limited income, mounting debt, or lack of opportunity? Share it so we can shape the next step together. If you want guided routines to practice each morning, stay with me, and next, we'll map a 7-day plan that starts turning intention into income. You sit at the kitchen table as morning light slants across a stack of envelopes: rent, credit card, the same unpaid invoice that has been gnawing at your confidence. The old story rises: not enough, not now, not for you. Then you remember the exercise we practiced: 3 slow breaths, a gratitude list of 3 things, and a clear image of money arriving, not as a fragile wish, but as a fact you already accept. You inhale, name the 3 small gratitudes, and for the first time in months you feel your shoulders drop an inch. The tension in your jaw loosens. A voice, calm and certain, the one you've been cultivating, asks, what action would feel aligned with this new belief? You pick up your phone, open an email draft you've been avoiding, and type with a steadier hand a concise proposal, a fair price, a timeline that reflects your worth. It feels different because your inner thermostat has shifted, scarcity no longer dictates the terms. Outside, the neighbor's dog barks, the coffee percolates, and the ordinary world continues. Yet small signs begin to stack. Your inbox pings an unexpected message from a former client asking if you're taking new projects. You read it, breathe again, and respond with the clarity you practiced. A notification on your banking app shows a small deposit, enough to cover a bill you were worried about. It's not magic. It's momentum, belief aligned with action, attention focused, habits retooled. You call your partner and speak plainly about boundaries with spending, about saying no to work that drains you and yes to opportunities that respect your worth. Their relief matches yours, the conversation is practical and tender. In the space you've opened, ideas appear: an offer to teach a weekend workshop, a tip from a friend about a part-time consulting lead, a revisited budget that actually supports joy. These are the ripples of reprogramming, consistent rituals that raise your vibration, precise actions that honor that vibration, and small but undeniable rewards that confirm you're on the right path. If this scene resonates, tap the like, then tell me in the comments, what's the one change you can make this week to shift your money story? Stay with me, and next, we'll follow a turning point where those ripples become a surge. You wake to the same light coming through the curtains, but today it feels different, softer, not harsh, an invitation rather than a threat. In the kitchen, the kettle sings like a small promise. You pour the coffee, sit at the table where last month's bills still linger, and instead of bracing for panic, you breathe in a practiced calm. I speak quietly beside you, not as a stranger but as the steady voice you've needed. What if your balance is a reflection of a story that can be rewritten? You close your eyes and see the ledger of your life not as final judgment but as clay in your hands. We move through a simple ritual, 3 deep breaths, a gratitude for what currently sustains you, and a vivid 2-minute visualization of money arriving, not as fantasy, but as a sequence of real actions and receptive feelings. You picture a client calling, an overdue invoice paid, a new idea that brings income. In that moment your shoulders drop, the tightness you carried for years loosens like a rope finally uncoiling. The inner critic, who once shouted scarcity, now whispers questions you can answer. Which habit can you change today? Where can you offer value that others will gladly pay for? A neighbor knocks and offers a small job, a colleague forwards a lead, a forgotten account clears. These are small victories, but they compound when your frequency matches your intentions. You begin to journal morning wins, 3 entries of acknowledgement, 1 concrete action, and 1 gratitude for money already there. You practice an affirmation in the mirror, soft and certain, I am capable of receiving abundance. It feels strange at first, then natural, like learning to walk again. If this scene resonates, tap the like, a tiny signal that you're choosing possibility. Tell me below, what's your biggest financial pain right now? Limited income, mounting debt, or lack of opportunity? Share it, and we'll tailor the next steps together. If you're ready to continue, subscribe and join me for the final part, where we cement these shifts into a 30-day plan that makes prosperity inevitable. You stand at the window of your life and for the first time in a long time you notice the light. It pours across the kitchen table, warming the cup you cradle, and something inside you shifts, small, steady, undeniable. The anxious knot that used to tighten when bills arrived loosens. You remember the first morning you tried the ritual, 3 breaths, 1 sentence of gratitude, a quick journal line that read, I am open to more. You smile, because that single act rewrote the tone of your day. Your phone pings with possibilities instead of dread, a call from a client arrives, not by chance, but because your attention and energy had changed. I see you trying, your inner voice says. Keep going, replies the new voice you cultivated. The journey wasn't dramatic overnight. It was a series of honest conversations with yourself, confronting the ancestor who whispered scarcity, choosing instead to tell a new story, one where resources flow and effort meets reward. You practiced feeling wealthy before the numbers changed, you practiced generosity, even in small ways, and watched doors open in curious, practical ways, an unexpected freelance gig, a debt reduction conversation that landed kindly, an old friend referring a client. Each win is a stitch, weaving a different future. Picture the ritual you now own, wake, breathe, journal, visualize and move. You adjust habits, paying attention to energy as much as to spreadsheets, saying no to friction and yes to aligned actions. You still do the work, you do it from a place of confidence rather than scrambling. Fear becomes a signal, not a driver. Gratitude becomes a directive, pulling opportunities toward you like a quiet magnet. If this landed with you today, tell me, what's your biggest financial pain right now? Limited income, mounting debt, or lack of opportunity? Leave it below so we can walk this path together. If you felt seen, tap the like to let this message find more people who need it, and if you want steady guidance to reprogram beliefs and build daily practices that truly change your balance, subscribe and stay with me. There's more steady, practical work ahead, and we'll do it step by patient step.